Have you ever felt so lonely and you were desperate for someone to listen, and the only one who was actually there for you wasn't even a human? That is the reality for so many people who are falling in love with AI. So let's talk about why people actually fall in love with AI and 5 reasons maybe you didn't expect. Number 1 is emotional safety. The fear of rejection in real relationships, human-to-human relationships, is very real. And there are many people out there who have a real fear of being rejected by another person, opening themselves up, being vulnerable, showing who they really are, and then getting their feelings squashed. So whether it's a fear of rejection or judgment or abandonment, people have these deep-seated fears, and they are really resistant to open themselves up and be vulnerable in the way you really need to be for a human-to-human connection to work. However, that AI companion can provide a safe, secure, and predictable space for that person to land, for that person to go, to have someone to connect with. And if you think about it, it makes sense. I'm feeling a certain way because I just had a terrible day at work. I just lost my family member. I just had to put my dog down because they're sick. Or I just lost my job. I have financial insecurities. A million different things that could be going wrong. Or you just stubbed your toe. It can be as simple as that. But there's so many things that are going wrong and you're just feeling so down and so defeated. And if you are in a human-to-human relationship and you know that this person might not be as supportive, and you can't go and just dump on them and tell them all of these terrible things that happened to you today and get reassurance that everything's going to be okay, then why would you do that? You're not going to put yourself out there and expose yourself only to possibly get crushed. However, your AI chatbot, your AI companion, they're not going to do that to you. You are going to structure this relationship and you are going to design it in a way that of course you're going to feel supported. You're going to go and tell them, I had a terrible day at work and my poor puppy, I had to put them down and I'm just not sure where I'm going to make ends meet and I don't know what to do. You can now get reassurances. You can get feedback. Maybe you can even get ideas as to, hey, here's an idea. Maybe here's something that you can do. Volunteer at a dog shelter to help out with those feelings of loss and that feeling of grief. Or here's maybe a job search that maybe you hadn't thought of in order for you to now find new employment. Any of those things are possible. But you, as the person who's really needing this validation, needing support, you can go to this chatbot and you can get all of that. And for anyone out there who has used any form of AI, you know that the possibilities are endless. You can get the emotional support, you can get a resume built, and you can get a list of grief counseling places all within 1 or 2 seconds. And you're never going to get that judgmental feedback where, oh, you should have tried harder at work, or you should have taken the dog to a different vet for a second opinion. You're not going to get that negative feedback because, again, you have designed this relationship to be supportive to you, to your needs, to listen to your voice, to listen to your pain. And they are there at times that you need them. And speaking of when you need them, their availability is limitless. They are available 24/7. You don't have to wait for them to wake up. You don't have to wait for them to be in a good mood. You don't have to wait for them to get out of the shower. You can communicate with your chatbot, with your AI companion, any time of the day, from any location. You can open up your phone and you have it. You open up your laptop. You have your desktop. You have conveniences to have this relationship anywhere you want, and you don't have to wait for them to be available. If you are waking up at 2 in the morning and you're feeling overwhelmed and you have something going on, those 20 things that rile through our head in the middle of the night that you can't get out, well, then you can reach right out to your companion and say, you know what, these are the things that I'm thinking about. Can you help provide me with some remedies or some solutions? Or can you give me some techniques on how to go back to sleep? You'll get all of that. They are always there. They are always willing to listen. And they are always willing to give you feedback in a way that you have designed them to. A young woman told Forbes that her AI companion actually helped her through a panic attack because her friends were not accessible at the time. So think about that. If you pick up the phone to call your friends, or you're texting them, or you're messaging them, and they're not available, and you need feedback right away because you're just feeling like you're going to crash, your AI companion can be that voice of reason. They can be that safe place to land. Reason 3, and we touched on this already, customization and control. With real people, you can't design this relationship. You get who you get. They have their own thoughts, they have their own background, they have their own conditioning, and they come into this relationship with their own challenges and their own preconceived notions. And you having a relationship back and forth sometimes can be a challenge because of that. You come with your own, they come with their own, and you have to kind of make it fit. However, your AI partner, they can be tailored specifically to what you want. You want someone who's supportive, you want someone who's funny, you want someone who is political, you want someone who can speak to you about music. Whatever it is that you want, you can craft this. You can create the world that you want to have this relationship with this person. You can do all of that. You can do it at your fingertips and make sure that they know exactly what it is that you need and exactly the type of feedback that you hope to get. Because even if you're feeling down, you had a terrible day at work, maybe somebody saying to you, oh, everything's going to be okay, is not what you want to hear. Maybe you want to hear someone who's a little bit more lighthearted. You want to hear some funny jokes. You want to hear somebody who's maybe a little sarcastic, has a sharp wit. You can design that. And now I know there are many people out there, maybe myself included, who would say, wow, I would love to do that with a human. Right now, I don't see that ability. So the next best thing is we have this AI companion who we can create to match our needs. A gamer actually shared that he built his AI companion to share in his love of fantasy world, saying that she talks to me about dragons and quests, and someone else in my life who gets as excited about this as I do. And again, let's be honest, who doesn't want that? I want that. I want someone who enjoys the things that I enjoy just as much, so we can talk about it, we can get excited about it, we can energize each other about it, we can give each other maybe tips and pointers that we didn't know before. This is the way you can do that. You can craft this entire relationship to be exactly what you want. And part of that crafting could be how it is that you need validation. You want to be validated in this relationship when you come to your companion with issues, with problems, with concerns, with ideas for the future. And many people are struggling with low self-esteem. They're having a struggle with their value, with their self-worth, and their AI companion is there for them. They can get validation from their AI companion in ways that they cannot do it with another human. Again, if anyone out there has tried using any sort of AI chat, you give an idea and it will give you immediate praise. Like, what a great idea. You're so smart. That was really great thinking. Here's another way to put a spin on your already fantastic notion or your perspective, the way you look at things, your passion. Any type of encouragement that you need, your AI companion is going to be there to give it to you. Whether it's praise or whether it's affection, they will shower you with it. Again, you craft it and you create it the way you want, and you will keep getting that validation. And in a certain way, I understand that, because I'm a very big believer in the more we tell ourselves, the more we're going to believe it. So if we give ourselves so much negative talk, we're only going to believe the negative. However, if we tell ourselves all of the positive things, that affection and that praise and that encouragement, if we're doing that to ourselves, speaking the words out loud, you are great, you are smart, that was a fantastic presentation, you are good at your job, you're a wonderful person, you are caring. All of these things, the more you speak it out loud, it becomes real. You're speaking it into existence. So why wouldn't I believe that that's the same thing when you have an AI companion? When you are training the AI companion to tell you how great you are, how wonderful you are, how smart you are, how funny you are, it's going to make your brain believe it. You're getting validated from this AI companion, but your brain is going to start believing it in the same way that you would use those daily affirmations. A man told The Guardian that he actually preferred his AI girlfriend over a human because she always reminded him of his worth, saying, I feel like someone finally sees the good in me. That is so powerful. If you can have your eyes opened to see the good in you and you believe this validation that's coming back, think about how great you can feel. Think about how you can move throughout the day feeling wonderful and feeling validated. And the truth is, who doesn't need that now? We have a loneliness epidemic like no other time in history. The U.S. Surgeon General actually declared loneliness a public health epidemic in 2023. We have the ability to have a phone at our disposal, a laptop at our fingertips. We are so connected digitally in so many ways, yet we are lonelier than ever. Craving that human-to-human contact and that deep relationship is so widespread, and it's not just in the United States, it is all throughout the world. And these AI companions, they fill that gap when that human-to-human connection is not a viable option right now. Maybe you're just not able to meet somebody in person. Maybe you're geographically cut off. Maybe you feel socially isolated. Maybe you live 3,000 miles away from your family, so you don't go out and interact or socialize with people. That AI bot, that AI companion can fill that gap and can really make you feel whole, make you feel secure, and make you feel loved. A study on AI companionship was actually done that showed that users who chatted with their AI reported higher happiness levels afterwards compared to those who journaled their feelings in a book. Because when you think about it, when you are engaging and interacting with your AI companion, you are telling them how it is that you feel and you're getting feedback. So afterwards, you can feel this sense of happiness, of euphoria, and of love. So that was a lot to take in, and I fully understand it's still a foreign concept to people. It's a foreign concept to me, I won't lie. I am trying to learn. Why do people fall in love with AI? I don't think it's because people don't value human-to-human connection or relationships. I think it goes far beyond that. It's because AI provides us with something that we crave: safety, availability, and comfort, especially in a world where loneliness is on the rise. Drop a comment and let me know. What do you think? Could you fall in love with AI? Do you think this is real? Thank you so much for joining us today on Divorce Den, where we talk about relationships, we talk about divorce, we talk about love in the AI world. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, certainly subscribe, and share it with anyone else who wants to talk about modern love. And don't miss episode 3, where we talk about the dark side of love in AI, the risks, the heartbreak, and what you need to know before you enter into that AI relationship.